In the following video, a recent university graduate was in his new home when he decided to document what he believed to be a haunting. Over the past few days, he had been hearing thudding sounds from a room nearby to his bedroom and knew that nobody or nothing should have been in the household with him. On this particular evening, it started again, and he came to a strong decision. He was not going to tolerate this anymore and was going to investigate instead. With that, he took his camera and he left his room. This is what he was able to find.
Hey guys, it's Blackman96, and I've been hearing some bumping noises upstairs, like right where my room is. I'm just gonna take a look at. Come on. Okay. Like, what the f was that? You guys hear that, right? Okay. That bottle of Windex was right here. I left it there this morning. It was right there. My room's kind of messy right now because lizards and such shit like that. I don't really know what I'm supposed to say. Oh, can you do that again? Fuck this.
The thudding led him to a room where all sorts of items had moved, and it was obvious that something had been in there. For a brief moment, he believed that a squatter or somebody along those lines had infiltrated the building, but that was far from what was actually going on. A piece of china slid across the desk, and bravely, the man recording the incident asked the poltergeist to do this another time. To his fortune, it listened and threw the china cup off from the counter whilst on camera. After this whole situation, he sprinted back to his room and tucked himself away in bed, hoping to sleep all of this torment away. He was able to do this for one night, with no disruptions entering his place of rest, but it would only be one day later that the spirit took it upon himself to enter his bedroom. The time was 7 o'clock in the evening, and the man was just watching some television when this happened.
I just came home and I heard some footsteps, some bumping noises upstairs, so I ran and got my camera, and I felt some wind blowing, so I'd start to film, and it was like in this direction over here. It was like the curtains were moving over there and the window's shut, so I'm just going to film over here and see if I can get a response to whatever's moving. Okay. If you're here, give us a sign. Me a sign. Okay. I promise I'm not going to run this time. There's no reason to run. Holy shit. Okay, I don't think one can do that. There was something holding the door shut and it just flew out. Okay, I'm going to my room now. Okay. That was by far the freakiest thing that's ever happened to me. I promised myself if anything like that happened, I would continue filming and not run. Unlike last time. So, yeah, I don't know.
Strangely, all sorts of things moved in the room without any sort of human intervention, and it was clear that there were no strings of any sort attached. Whilst this scenario did frighten the man behind the camera, he was fortunately able to remain calm and stable throughout this event, which is really impressive. I hope that he never has to go through anything like this ever again. Lainey and Ben were a happily married couple who viewed each other very early into their relationship. Their parents were quite unsupportive of this decision, but they were going strong regardless. That was until they discovered that their rented property was far from welcoming. Over time, they started to realize that there was some sort of spiritual presence inside of the place, but due to their contract with the landlord, they were not allowed to leave just yet. So despite the video that you are about to watch being scary, they were forced to prevail.
What the hell? Shut up! What the hell? Did you see it?
You couldn't miss it? Oh, you've got to watch that back.
Was that a shadow just then?
Where?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Now there was a range of sounds coming from upstairs that indicated something else was in the property. Lainey and Ben bravely approached the scene to see if they could catch whatever had broken in, but to their dismay, it was something worse than a squatter. The door opened on its own accord, and a shadow could be seen gliding up the staircase that only had one explanation for existing: a poltergeist. As I mentioned earlier though, the duo were bound by their contract to keep paying rent for this house for at least 2 months. They could have moved out but would be paying huge bills for no reason, so decided to make do. The ghost did not make this task easy though, and just a day later, tormented them again. This time it was rattling and pounding upon the exact same door, but when Ben went to open it, nothing happened on the other side. Instead, a door across the entire sitting room began to do the same thing, and this is when he decided that he had enough. A home is not a home if you cannot feel safe, and so he contacted a ghost hunter and paid them $200 to eradicate the spirit, which was a successful operation, in the short term, at least. For the next few weeks, absolutely nothing abnormal occurred inside of the house, and both Lainey and Ben truly believed that the place had been cleansed, and they cancelled all plans regarding moving out over the coming months. Little did they know that it was way too soon to make decisions of that size, because unfortunately, the ghost came back, and this time stronger than before. Ben was enjoying his peace, whilst he was home alone without a spirit to haunt him. He was being productive, watching YouTube while editing his own video at the same time, but this peace would end in a matter of minutes.
This cupboard door's just opened. I'm just sat here watching some YouTube and editing up a video, and I was just sat here at the corner of my eye, just saw it open, and oh. I heard these fall. One of these cupboard doors is opened. You can tell by the cupboard door, like, you know, bro. Oh my god.
This time items other than the doors started moving on their own accord, and it was a horrible experience for Ben. The stress going through his mind was immense, because he truly thought he was at peace and escaped the life of a poltergeist living with him. This just was not the case though. He and Lainey decided to write a letter to the landlord, telling him why they needed to escape the house and that the living conditions were insufferable. Due to there not being enough evidence to make this legally required though, the landlord decided to reject the proposal and continue to rack in the cash. I truly wish Ben and Lainey a safe few months, and hopefully the poltergeist moves on to more deserving prey. On May the 8th of 2022, a viral video was uploaded to YouTube, and it was terrifying to say the least. It was posted by a channel called Japanese Horror Entertainment, and as you probably know based on the title of this video, it was regarding a haunted occurrence. The specific member of the channel who recorded this video was called Omagatoki, and he was a profound ghost hunter in the country of Japan. He was known for his cheap prices in eradicating spirits, in order to help those suffering in poorer financial situations tackle their haunting situations, and he did a very good job. The clip that I am about to expose you to took place in a client's house that was supposedly home to a really agitating ghost.
今ハワイって聞こえたよね。まだ開いてないけど。
The ghost seemed to be angered by the presence of a ghost hunter, and Omagatoki was simply gathering evidence of its existence so that he could research it more. This research would help him later banish the ghost from the property. Despite the activity the ghost showed here, it was unfortunately unidentifiable, meaning the ghost hunter had to banish it with no information on its power. Fortunately, he succeeded though, and the house was cleansed and made safe for the owners to move back into. Johan was your regular local store owner, and the locals loved talking to him when they came into the store to buy their items. He was kind to everybody, and there was literally no reason not to like him, which made it ever more saddening that the spirit we are about to see cause havoc made him its target. The time was around midday, and Johan was stocking the shelves directly in front of the security camera. He was extremely fortunate that he was in this position when the poltergeist struck, because CCTV managed to detect all of it, so have a look. If you paid really close attention, then you should have noticed the hood of Johan getting pulled by seemingly nothing. However, as we all know, physics would not allow that to happen. There must have been someone or something acting upon the coat to have caused the hood to make this movement, but no matter how much Johan slowed down the footage and zoomed in, he was not able to make out what. No matter how strange you think this is, quite a lot of people enjoy the thrill of paranormal activity. Of course, we have ghost hunters who go and visit all sorts of ghostly places to banish ghosts for a fee. But what I am about to talk about are people who do it purely for passion rather than money, and I don't know how they are able to enjoy such activities. One man who goes to haunted locations for fun all of the time is called Rehan, and one day he visited what he claimed to be the most haunted house he had entered yet. Was he overhyping the location, or was it truly a portal to hell? Well, take a look and find out for yourself. At first, a lot of things fell over off camera, and you could audibly hear the thuds in which they made. Furthermore, there were upside-down crosses dotted all around the house, and it doesn't take a genius to know that it was a sign of a demonic presence in the household. Finally, some objects fell on camera at the end of the video, sending Rayhan rushing out in fear of his life, praying extra that night. Elias Samel is a man who has faced the paranormal more times than he can count, and if you're a regular on this channel, then you will certainly agree with that statement. It seems like he appears in all of our videos at the moment, and the truth is that I can't stop including his clips due to the sheer amount of them available to us. Recently, Elias decided to relocate and move house because of how bad his old one was becoming, and hoped that all of the horrors in his day-to-day life would leave for good, but unfortunately, this was not the case. The spirits followed him to his new home.
Andaba en un recorrido, pero escuché un ruido muy fuerte y vengo a ver y me encontré con esto. Esta silla no tiene por qué caerse. Vete de aquí, déjame en paz. No hay nadie, amigos. Estoy muy asustado. ¿Qué pasa? No entiendo. Pero... me tenía por qué haberse movido ni haberse caído. Sí, yo... No. No. ¿Por qué se movió? No. ¿Quién eres? Vete de aquí. Déjame en paz. No sé qué. ¿Qué está pasando? No, me voy a salir un rato porque... No.
He initially began the recording because he heard a banging sound, so wanted to see what he could capture. Immediately after recording, everything stopped, but he continued to walk around the house and film in hopes that something would occur. It did. His chair glided across the floor as if somebody was pushing it, and it was very evident that nobody was, at least nobody visible. A spirit was behind this, and it had followed him to his new residence. The bar is a place full of drunken men, and after football games, they are usually on another level of full. People come in to catch up with their pals and talk about the game that just unfolded, so business booms in these places, just like the intake of drinks does. Drinking this much can cause drunkenness, and one man called Dave thought that this phenomenon of which he caught on his phone was just a product of his irresponsible drinking. But after getting home and watching back the footage, he realized that it actually happened. His glass of beer slowly slid across the table at the speed of a snail until coming to a complete halt in front of Dave's friend. Dave was very fortunate to have filmed this, otherwise he would have been stuck thinking it was some form of hallucination, but luckily now he knows that it was not. The following video took place in the bottom floor of a single mother's house, and I would not wish what happened onto my worst enemy, let alone a lone mother of two. The woman, Serena, was doing an activity as simple as watching television one night after putting both of her children to bed after another long, stressful day, and just wanted to relax. However, despite her keenness to sit back and chill for the night, a certain poltergeist was not so fond of the idea and caused absolute chaos. Have a watch. Serena started to hear some mysterious sounds coming from downstairs, and they managed to wake up her daughter, although her son slept through it. This angered her, so she went downstairs in hopes of finding the source of the noise, but instead of a source, she found more trouble. The chairs in the hidden room were going crazy, and both her and her daughter were very upset. They slept together that night with the mother not knowing what to do next, so leave some advice down below in the comments in case she comes across this video. Jaime Waters had known his situation regarding how haunted his house was for quite some time now, and it was just a matter of what he was going to do about it. At first, he thought the best idea would be to contact his local church or something to see what they could do for him, but then he realized that this was a good way to gain exposure on social media, so purchased some gear and started documenting his hauntings. One night at around 2 a.m., his gear started lighting up an absurd amount, and he knew that this paranormal spike was much higher than usual, so began to film in case something happened, and to his fortune, it did, and it was on camera.
If that's the spirit, can you please do something? Oh my god. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Help me.
After a few moments of waiting and asking the ghost to do its thing, the spike paid off, and all of the portraits fell from the wall in front of Jaime's eyes, and most importantly, his camera. He took this footage and uploaded it online, hoping to see some success, and surprisingly, it actually did. He got a decent amount of views and some recognition, so we'll definitely be keeping the spirit around for longer. Subscribe to see his videos if he continues. The case of Abiud is an ongoing case where a man called Abdul is constantly observing his house in fear that it is haunted by something called Abiud. Unnatural things happen inside of his household all the time, and it has gotten to the point where it is weird for normal things to happen, rather than weird for strange things too. Abdul has started randomly filming around the house nowadays in order to try and capture the spirit in raw and authentic moments, and the video that you are about to watch is a product of one of his checkups. Take a look.
Ya estoy terminando de así. Aquí lo que me llama la atención es que el humo permanece. Digo, bueno, en el teléfono no se aprecia muy bien que digamos, pero como que el humo de verdad toma una cierta forma extraña, no sé cómo explicarlo. De hecho, las cadenas ya empezaron a moverse otra vez. Todo bien acá. Pero sí se ve un poco curioso esto. Hola. Hola. ¿Ya te fuiste? ¿Ya te fuiste? Ya empiezan a moverse. Hola, hola. ¿Ya te fuiste? De hecho, empiezan a sonar las campanas aquí, como que algo truena, no logro distinguir qué es. Incluso las cadenas de ella se están moviendo más. Las cadenas ya se están moviendo más fuerte y suena. Como que sí le está molestando el incienso, no sé qué onda. Pues si no te parece, entonces vete, no tengo problema. Ve. Ay, ok, esto no me lo esperaba, definitivamente esto no me lo esperaba.
First of all, the bells started clashing against each other, generating their ringing noise. But this was by no means caused by the wind. It was obvious that some kind of invisible force was acting on it though, and if it wasn't the wind, it was a spirit. This was further backed up by the swaying of the chains and the door closing on its own accord, basically confirming that this was a paranormal surge rather than a high wind altitude. Orissa is a semi-professional archer who has been in the business for a long time, training for a goal of becoming a full-fledged professional. In order to do this, she needs to rent out complete training studios to conduct her practices and get better every day. But little did she know when choosing her studio that it would be haunted. Watch this video.
I'm back with another creepy experience in my training studio. Earlier this year, I caught on camera a very creepy experience that happened to me whilst I was filming. But since then, nothing really weird has happened until tonight. So I'm trying to film an archery video in the room next door, but it's still the same studio. It's 9 p.m, I'm training on my own, and I hear a man's voice as clear as day from behind this door.
Just heard a voice.
Is there someone here? Hello?
I go to check the cameras in the front room to make sure that I'm the only person in this building. And then it sounds like a pen is dropping behind me down the corridor.
Okay. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Oh, Jesus. What the hell? I got the creeps. I'm gonna take it that... My eyes are watering all of a sudden for no reason.
Even though I am training on my own, was I really alone?
The pen dropping, followed by the footsteps, made it seem like somebody else was in the studio with her, but she was more than certain that this was not the case. The studio came in bookings, meaning that she was the only person legally allowed on the property, and after checking the cameras, it was evident that no one had broken in. Another haunting in this studio, to add to many. The Midwest ghost hunter, with the real name Ian, is one of the most famous YouTubers in the niche of documenting paranormal activity. For years now, he has been traveling up and down the Midwest, trying to gain as much evidence of a spiritual world as possible, and it is safe to say he has built a great career from it. The following clip comes from a video where he explored a haunted manor by himself on a solo mission, and it was definitely frightening, to put it lightly.
Is it okay that I'm in your room? Oh, whoa. I just saw like a light over here. It's like a glowing ball of light. It just floated by her mirror. Are you standing over by your mirror? I think I just seen you. I'm gonna try to take a bunch of pictures. Rebecca, are you here with me? I don't know if my eyes are playing tricks on me, but I keep seeing something in the mirror. You don't have to be shy, okay? Whoa, whoa, that was another anomaly. Oh my God, it was like in the mirror. Are you looking into your mirror right now, Rebecca? Oh my goodness, it is suddenly cold in here. I am getting chills all over my body. What was that? What was that? Oh my God, she freaking looked at me through the mirror. I just saw her face. Oh my God, am I going crazy? I literally just saw her face in the mirror. And it's gonna be impossible to see. I have to go down here.
Being tormented by a spirit is enough to cause mass fear, but seeing an apparition, even in a mirror, is horrifying. This apparition was of a woman called Rebecca, who was the wife of the family, and knowing he was being watched really unsettled Ian. Understandably so, to be fair. In the following video, Miguel was showing his apartment on a video, and the reason behind this was very unorthodox. He was in contact with a ghost hunter regarding a spirit inside of his house, and he wanted help removing it. However, the hunter wanted undeniable evidence in order for them to not waste their time, so Miguel's mission was made clear. He needed to catch this spirit on camera. He waited until the time when most of the things happened and took out his camera, which captured this.
Amigos, son las 1:26 de la madrugada y estoy solo. Ya van 3 veces que me tocan la puerta a mi casa y relativamente pues yo estoy solo, pero pues la verdad es que sí me da miedo. La neta no sé ni qué onda en mi casa y pues sí me da un chingo de miedo. Les juro. No mames, vete a la verga. No mames, no mames. No mames. Vete a la verga. No, neta, vete a la verga, vete a la verga. Se acaba de caer esta madre. No, 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 no mames. No, no mames, no, no mames.
The rhino fell from the storage cabinet to the ground and surprisingly didn't smash. It was made out of china and was hollow, so it made no sense as to how it survived the fall, which just adds to how spooky this video was. Furthermore, the fact that it landed on all fours showed that the situation was out of the ordinary because nothing of that sort can fall so perfectly. The video was sent to the ghost hunter and is pending review. We can only hope that Miguel receives the help he deserves. John Bailey Davies was an innocent teenager who was living his last year inside of his parents' house, and due to the fact that they worked a lot, he was left home alone. Whenever he was home alone, he would take his time operating a small-scale business that earned him around $1,500 per month. But whenever he finished with that, he would be free to play games. Over recent times, though, his gaming time has been interrupted by ghostly events, and when it started happening in this instance, he took it upon himself to start recording.
Welcome back to what is in my apartment while I'm home alone. Like, what could... Now, last time I didn't do this. I'm gonna open this door and it's gonna stop. I hate it.
Strangely, a series of footsteps could be heard from outside of his room, and due to this happening to him before he did not show any signs of thinking this was an intruder, he knew it was a spirit. In order to prove to the people watching the clip that it was real, though he left the room to investigate and found nothing. I dare you to try and find a natural solution in the comments, but for me, this is 100% a ghost sighting. After investigating the other room, he entered his again, hoping that he could at least sneak an hour into his day without any spiritual interruptions. This was a big ask considering how haunted his house truly was, but a man is allowed to dream, and dream he did. It's a shame his dream didn't become reality.
I'm the only one here right now. And as you can clearly hear, there's just someone out there.
Even more sounds came from outside of his room just 15 minutes later, and on top of this, the lights out there had turned themselves back on. This time, John did not buckle up the courage to investigate the situation and believed he had already showcased enough evidence towards this incident being a real one. You cannot blame him. I doubt a single one of you would be unfazed in a situation similar to this one. Cameras are some of the most useful devices out there and have many purposes. These purposes include catching crime and looking back on suspicious things that have happened within a place, and it is safe to say that a ghostly event is on the suspicious side of things. Kyle Anthony was in the sitting room with his wife one day when he received an alert from his camera app that there was strange activity going on in the attic. Concerned, he opened the app, and what he found was insane. Have a look.
Well, the camera in the attic finally recorded something. I am freaked out, and there's no way in hell I'm going up there. Oh my God. Can somebody please tell me what the hell I'm supposed to do? I can't go up there. This shit is f***ing crazy.
The box was shaking aggressively, and there is absolutely no reason that something like this could actually happen without the aid of a spirit. Furthermore, Kyle has had experience with ghosts before in his past, so it makes sense that what he was experiencing was more of this. However, he decided that entertaining the ghost was not a smart idea, and unlike most victims, never contacted any professionals after the prior incidents. However, this next event would contribute to him changing that thought process. One thing that most viewers said after the clip I just showed you was that they saw an animal such as a bird or a rat that moved the box, and Kyle set out to disprove these claims in an all-new clip. The time was 1 a.m. when he went to investigate the attic.
Guys, it was not an animal moving the box. It was not a bird, it was not a rat, it was not a mouse, it was not a snake, it was not my cousin. It was a little star pendant. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to go up there and show you. I'm going to show you what it was. Sorry it takes me so long to get up this ladder. It's very rickety and I'm nervous. All right. See it? It was this little thing. This little thing. This was coming out. That's what people thought they saw. It wasn't a rat, it wasn't a snake, it wasn't a bird, it wasn't a mouse, it wasn't any of those things. That's what it was, okay? Gosh, dang it, I'm nervous to be up here. But I might as well have a look inside the box. It looks like things got moved around a little bit, but... Okay, and that's open. That's not fun. But we're gonna finally implement somebody's suggestion. Check it out. Let's just have a look at that.
First of all, he showed the audience a star which was supposedly the root of all the animal rumors, and in fairness to Kyle, the star did perfectly line up with where the animal was. On top of this, instead of ignoring the spirit and quote-unquote not entertaining it, Kyle decided to follow a viewer's request and pour some form of substance onto the box. He expected it to frighten the spirit and cause it to flee the attic, but it had the opposite effect. A paranormal surge occurred, and not only did Kyle hear something within the attic, but when he went downstairs, all sorts were happening. He was right after all. He should not have entertained the spirit's ordeals, and rather let it be. All he had done was make the situation far worse than it already was, and show the poltergeist that it was in fact getting into his head. This was when he realized that he had already entertained and fueled the poltergeist, so he might as well go the full mile and get a ghost hunter into the property. Over the next week, Kyle contacted all sorts of ghost hunters seeking one that charged a reasonable price, until he eventually found one that charged $500, with a money-back guarantee if any more paranormal activity occurred within a year. Kyle snagged the deal and was ready for the hunter to arrive, but just 1 week before the ghost showcased its utter resentment.
We were just going to bed, and I noticed out the bedroom window right there that this light is flickering on and off. Here's anybody who thinks that I'm using fucking smart bulbs or something. I don't know if you can see it. Does that look like a smart bulb to you? Anyway, I'm gonna go look at the basement. Let's go look at the basement. Make sure there's nothing in the house. Y'all will see that nobody's flipping the breaker on and off. As you can see, if somebody was flipping the daggone breaker, these lights will be flickering too. Gosh dang it. Oh my God. Alright, let's go out there. See if it's still happening. Did it stop? No, it's still going. It's still going. Look. It's still going. Look at it. Isn't that crazy? shit.
Strangely, the light bulb, which was clearly not able to be controlled by a mobile device, started to flicker on and off, and this raised the alarm bells for obvious reasons. Kyle went outside to check the scene, but this is when the doors closed behind him, confirming that this was an incident regarding the ghost, rather than a coincidence with the electricity. I wish Kyle the best on his ghost hunting visit, and hope the £500 spent becomes worthwhile. The following video was recorded in the house of Rosanna, and she has been a recurring victim of paranormal activity for a long time. It all started when her ex-boyfriend decided that it would be a good idea to visit a haunted house, and thinking it was fake, both of them were more than up for it. A lot of haunting stuff supposedly took place in this house, and they both ran back out of it as changed human beings. Little did they know that the spirit came with them, attaching to Rosanna in specific. This is the kind of stuff that she has to deal with nowadays. From the toilet seat, aggressively shaking to the door, locking her into her own bathroom, this was a horrific experience for Rosanna, but nothing abnormal for her. She was kind of used to the paranormal, but had never been locked inside of a room before, which is what gave her true fight due to her fear of enclosed places without an escape. Luckily, the exit opened and she was able to make it out, but you can't help but feel terrible for her nonetheless. If you have ever watched this channel before, you will know who Ian, also known as the Midwest Ghost Hunter, is. He is a brave and courageous ghost hunter who doesn't let any spirit ruin his adventures, but this one came close. He was exploring an abandoned asylum that was deemed to be haunted by many. He was completely aware that the spirits in there had a lot of resentment towards humans because of how they were treated when they were alive, but they did not expect them to cause as much of a fright to him as they did. Take a look.
Oh, that would be phenomenal if he did. Seems like you agree. Dang, this thing's going off like crazy. I don't think I've ever seen this thing go off like this. All right, Doris, I'm gonna start looking around. Which doll are you gonna move? Ooh. Oh, okay, thank you. I heard that. Holy moly, which doll moved? I can't even tell. There's so freaking many of them. Which doll did you move, Doris? Could you move her again? I'm getting nervous. Use as much energy as you need. Dude, oh shit, okay, I just saw that one. That one just moved. Holy moly! I got goosebumps all over. Oh God, I can't believe I just seen that. She just moved all on her own. Thank you so much, Doris. I feel like she is staring into my soul right now. This is a beautiful doll. Is this one of your favorites? Oh, whoa, what the f? Dude, her hair just moved. Holy moly. She just caressed her hair. Oh, dude, I just saw that. She just went like boop to her hair. Holy crap. Okay, I take that as a yes. This is your favorite doll. Oh gosh, it is getting freaky in here.
Out of nowhere, the doll moved its dress, and this took Ian aback for obvious reasons. However, due to his experience, he was not fazed, rather just in a state of shock. Little did he know that the doll would move again, and this time, after he asked a question, which practically confirmed the ghost was in fact present. Subscribe for more haunting videos from Ian, as he is included in every video I publish. On a night of which Sophie was already going through something severe, a ghost decided to enhance it, and when you know the backstory, this is quite sad. Roughly 1 week prior to this incident, the grandmother of Sophie, Sylvia, passed away in a tragic car accident that ended the lives of 2 people. Sophie was extremely close to her grandmother, and she was way too healthy and careful to have passed away at such a young age. Regardless, it happened though, and people just had to deal with it. Little did any of them know that she would come and pay her granddaughter a visit though.
I keep closing this drawer and it keeps opening by itself. Did you just see that? There we go. There was an orb and now there's this. Look. Look. Me. I'm gonna try it again.
This was suspected to be an incident caused by her grandmother, and it would make a lot of sense if this was the case. Once Sophie realized that this was likely the case, she broke down into tears and lay on her bed for hours thinking about her. I think it is safe to say that more harm than good was caused from this visit. Toby went to sleep early one night and he paid the consequences, because sleeping early usually results in waking up early. At 1 o'clock in the morning this happened, and he rolled out of bed wondering what time it was. When he realized, he knew he needed to get back into bed. However, despite being aware that he needed more rest, he was not tired and rather fancied something to eat, so went downstairs to start cooking. Little did he know that something abnormal would happen. Strangely, the lid for the pan started sliding across the tabletop on its own accord, and it was obvious that no visible force was acting upon it. Even in the case of an invisible string, it would not be possible because Toby was on the camera, and it was evident that he was not tugging anything. This was a very creepy evening for Toby, and one of which I severely doubt he will forget. The following video was captured by Dylan, and it was filmed during a job that he was not fond of in the slightest. His role was to clean his local restaurant, and he had 3 routine checkups. In the morning, he had to clean it. Throughout the day, he needed to maintain it, and in the evening he had to clean it, very demanding with very little pay. The video of which I am about to expose you to took place at 9 p.m. on an evening shift, and Dylan had been working for 2 hours to clean the place. There had been a children's birthday party, hence the balloons, and we all know the severity of mess that these parties can generate. This was the least of Dylan's concerns, though. Have a watch.
Creo que mucho el huevo. 3:20 de la mañana. Miren, y siento como que están moviendo las weas, como que las corren. Corrieron los pocillos de la sopa. Acá atrás se escucha como que le pegaran a weas, como que las movieran. Como que las movieran. Weón, está entero rígido acá. Ayer había grabado lo mismo, pero hoy día es como que... Weón.
Everything that you could have possibly thought of when you hear the word paranormal happened, and this was an extremely severe paranormal surge. For Dylan in specific, this was highly overwhelming, as he had never been face to face with something of this sort before, and it stayed with him for the rest of his life, with even the most subtle of mysterious incidents causing flashbacks. James lived by himself, and it is safe to say that there are many pros as well as many cons to this lifestyle. The pros include things such as peace, freedom, and the power to actually do what you want with the house. But in my personal opinion, the cons far outweigh them. From having to maintain the place on your own to being lonely at times when you need somebody with you, it mustn't be nice whatsoever. But none of these cons were the crucial ones to James. A paranormal entity was. The clip that I am about to expose you to shortly was taken because the tap started to turn itself on and off, and James wanted to document the phenomenon. Little did he know he was about to film something far more bizarre.
What the fuck?
Whilst the actual clip played, I severely doubt you actually realized what had happened, but fortunately, James included it again at the end. Some sort of shadow figure peeked around the doorframe, and you'd be crazy to not be filled with fright after coming face to face with such a sight. A few commenters claimed that if you mess with the settings on the image to such as saturation, an eye and a nose appear, but I will let you guys test that for yourselves before coming back. After the incident, James came to the conclusion that the only thing he would do was upload it to social media, because he didn't want to anger the spirit by inviting a ghost hunter or a priest around to investigate. However, he was left questioning his decision the next night because the ghost did not seem to be the happiest of beings nonetheless. This time, instead of making the tap turn itself on and then off, the spirit decided it was going to have fun with the cabinet and continuously swung it open and closed. Just like last time, James took out his camera and started documenting the incident, in hopes that the poltergeist would not stop its act, and he was lucky that it didn't. He was now presented with a few choices. James had enough evidence to do something about the spirit, but there was the possibility that the person he hired to banish it failed, and he was left with an even more annoyed ghost. Reluctantly, the conclusion was that he should wait for one more thing to happen, and once it did, he would contact a ghost hunter, who drove a decent bargain, provide 3 pieces of evidence, and get 50% off. After a few days, the 3rd piece of evidence arrived.
Yo, what up? Ghost Golden Guns over here, and I'm going live right now because that's why. Hello? Hello? Is anyone there? What the fuck? What the fuck? Who is out? Oh my god. Oh my goodness, what the fuck? Hello, who is there? Oh my goodness, please stop. What the fuck? Please stop. Please stop. This is my house. Leave. Leave. This is my house. You're not allowed here. Leave. Oh my goodness. Hello. Oh my goodness.
Once again, everything the spirit did was inside of the kitchen, and it was starting to become increasingly obvious that this was the only place that the poltergeist could truly haunt. One interesting thing to pick up on, though, is the fact that this time around, it only caused mayhem when it was spoken to, rather than being unhinged. Perhaps this was some progress. The ghost was banished 1 week later, though, nonetheless, and James has not experienced anything similar to the sort since. Ghost hunting can be one of 2 things, a professional and paid job or a hobby. I can sort of understand those who do the task professionally, because it is a very high-paying role for what it is, and the sheer amount of money is probably worth a small fright. However, I cannot bring myself to get behind those who do this simply for fun, because why would you put yourself in paranormal situations for the sole reason of entertainment? It just doesn't sit right with me. The duo in the video that we are about to watch next were visiting a haunted woodland for leisure, and what they found was extraordinarily rare. With that said, have a close look at what they were able to witness.
I'm excited. I just saw something. I've never seen anything like it in my entire life.
Some might call this the most compelling paranormal evidence ever captured on film.
This is Sam and Mike with Viper Paranormal. We're here on the Crucy property. It's January 29th, about 10:45 p.m. My name is Mike. This is my friend Sam. Hello. We don't mean any disrespect. We're only here to learn and communicate. This may be your last opportunity to communicate with anyone.
Whenever you asked that last question, the camera just died.
Really? Was it charged?
Yeah, it was fully charged. I mean, I K2, check the K2.
Is that food over there? I haven't seen anything, bro.
Dude, something moved over there, I swear.
Whoa!
Look at that.
Unlike most ghost sightings where people are only able to see a few objects moving, these guys were able to capture a spirit in the flesh. The transparent figure glided across the camera to the left of the screen, and they were both quick to give chase. From this point forwards, nothing else happened, which made the situation very questionable, but what they saw was more than enough for the day. It isn't often that sightings this prominent are found. On February the 23rd of 2025, a security camera caught something gobsmacking. The sighting was similar to that of the last video, except nobody saw it in the flesh, so the spirit must have thought it went under the radar. It happened at 11 o'clock at night, and nobody in the household was awake. This would not last, though, because the father and mother of the house were woken up by their dog barking, and curious at what was happening, they checked their cameras to see this. Strangely, a transparent figure could be seen outside of the house, and somehow the dog was able to detect it. This is because animals can supposedly see light patterns that we cannot, but I believed that this was a rumor rather than a matter of fact. In the following video, Martin Dickey and his wife Jenny were both operating inside of their kitchen when something happened that took them both off guard. In the corner of his eye, Martin noticed that the cap for the jug of milk was moving on its own accord, but it was so surreal that he couldn't believe his own eyes. He took out his camera and began to film the incident when this happened.
Right, there's nothing touching this milk bottle at all. Oh my god. Oh my god. This empty milk bottle lid is moving on its own. That is up. Do it again. Come on. Come on. Yes! Yes! There it is!
What is it?
I don't know! I have no idea what that is. That is absolutely crazy. There's nothing on or around this bottle. Are you doing it for this?
How can I even do this?
Just do it again. That is freaky stuff. Any more? Any more?
What do you think it is? Is it a ghost?
I can't work it out.
There's some air traps, isn't there? Then there's probably some sort of duct that's pulling it up here.
Is that on though? The duct isn't
I don't
on.
know. I just can't imagine what else it would be.
It's trying to stop now. We've got it though.
The cap continued to do its thing, moving as if it was being manhandled. Both of them tried their hardest to forge a logical solution, and Jenny came up with the idea that it was to do with the air above, although they both knew that this wouldn't have made this happen. Other than that, there are no real reasons other than the presence of a paranormal entity that I can get behind. The man in this next clip is called Jack, and he has featured in a large number of videos on my channel. This is because he has uploaded many haunted findings to his social media page on TikTok, and they are too good to not include. Jack experiences things of paranormal nature a lot because he collects antique items, and there is a direct correlation between these items and poltergeist activity. At first, things were okay for him, but as time went on, he slowly began to realize that something must have entered his house because odd stuff started happening, and the video that I am about to expose you to is when he managed to catch it all on camera.
Okay, I've just started filming because I fell asleep on the couch and
woke up to what felt like somebody stroking the side of my face, which made me jump awake, but I don't know if it was a dream, but then the room is icy cold and just the noises coming from the kitchen. Hello? Hello? Can you hear that? It's coming from outside, well, the kitchen there. Hello? Oh my god. The candlestick on the door's just bloody opened. What the hell? Hello? It makes you nervous to fall asleep on the couch, it really does. It's horrible. Is anybody out there? Shit! What the fuck? That's just hit my leg? What the fuck? Oh. Sophie, okay? Cat's just liked it as well. Oh my god. What is going on in here? What? It sounds like somebody sat down on the fucking chair. Fuck this, fuck off, I'm going in the garden. I'm not staying here.
All sorts of things happened here, and I will give it to you non-believers. In isolation, these events could definitely have a natural cause, but when paired together, it would be too coincidental for them all to happen within a 3-minute time span. Furthermore, the fact that the room went cold also signals that there was a haunting presence there, and this is something that Jack is going to work on banishing from his home, so we wish him luck. Not many people can stay calm in the midst of ghostly activity, so we really have to give credit to the girl who filmed this video. Somehow she was able to stay really composed and give a clear narrative, despite how frightening the situation must have been, and I can admire that. The time was 3 p.m, and Chloe was with her sister in the kitchen when they noticed the spice rack spinning around without any visible force interacting with it. She started recording in hopes that it would continue, and sure enough, it did.
I think he's after some spices now. He's in the fucking kitchen. I think he's just having a look. Oh no! Oh! Oh, I think he's having a read of them. Hello? Hello? I think he's dropped a few spices. You might want to clean them up.
Not only did the spice rack keep on spinning, but the dustpan also decided it was going to have a mind of its own. It started to swing from left to right, and I am surprised Chloe stayed calm in this situation. She showed the clip to her parents when they rose from bed the next day, and they sent it to a local ghost hunter. They now have a date booked, and it is looking like the house will be cleansed. On a late night in France, a ghost hunter by the name of Duncan decided that he was going to explore a haunted house for his TikTok page. He loved exploring places of this sort and wasn't even in the industry for the money. We know this because he did these kinds of things way before starting social media, which showcases his real passion for the hobby of capturing ghosts on camera. Anyways, sticking to this expedition specifically, a family had passed away inside of the house 4 years prior, and Duncan had been hired by a new family to check for ghosts before they purchased it. This is one of his findings.
Oh, les deux K2. Regardez les amis.
Les deux K2. Il marche lui? Non. Nom de Dieu. Oh, c'est un truc de fou. C'est quoi le délire? Est-ce que Serge, tu pourrais faire... allumer la lumière bleue, s'il te plaît? Peux-tu te rapprocher de la lumière bleue? Est-ce que tu peux faire un mouvement, s'il te plaît? Merci beaucoup, Serge. Wow, wow, wow. C'est quoi D'accord, Serge. Il y aurait quelqu'un ici? Est-ce que Serge, tu sais sortir la poupée? D'accord. Dis-moi, Serge. Est-ce que tu penses que j'ai ramené Gabi quelque part?
Out of nowhere, the high vision jacket dropped from the wooden door and it started to shake, as if a real person had nudged or kicked it. This acted as a jump scare to Duncan, who was not expecting the poltergeist to show itself to him so soon, but after the initial scare, he was not frightened at all and continued his journey, later coming across this.
D'accord. Les amis, il y a un vrai souci. Incroyable. Qu'est-ce qui se passe, Serge? Est-ce que tu peux me ramener le ventilateur, Serge? Une dernière fois? Comme tu veux. Wow, c'est quoi ce bordel? C'est quoi ça? Wow! C'est quoi ce délire? Putain. C'est quoi le délire? Ok Serge, je crois que je vais te laisser tranquille en fait. Je vais pas t'embêter. J'aimerais juste te présenter quelqu'un. Alors les amis, le K2 il est amorphe. Il est amorphe le K2. Wow! Oh, oh! Calme-toi! Oh non, non, Serge, non, non! Oh non! Non, Serge! Pas les appareils! Il y a du gaz à ces bombes, Serge!
Unlike the high vision jacket that fell from the door off camera, these items moved right in front of it, which confirmed to the audience that this was in fact real. Duncan added these videos to his evidence file for the family who were paying him a big fee for his work before leaving the home safely. Staying in a hotel is meant to be a good all-round experience, considering the fact that you have to pay your money in order to stay in one. Most of the time, this is the case, but sometimes hotels fail to provide this nice feeling, with the one in the next video coming under that category. However, it was not their fault. Dennis was staying in the hotel before a concert he was attending the next day when all of a sudden something odd caught his eye, which warranted him to take out his phone and start recording. This is what he managed to capture.
Okay, Lisa. Do you want to talk? Open the drawer if you want to communicate with me. Come on, Lisa. Lisa, do you want me to go away? Lisa, come on. Come on, Lisa. All right, what do you want to do? Lisa. Come on. We can play this parlor game all day long, I suppose. There, okay. Open the drawer. Lisa, you want to talk? Lisa, do you want to talk? Do you want me to go away?
We are grateful and proud of our purpose.
Come on, Lisa.
Now more than ever, home has new meaning. knows everything.
Come on, Lisa, talk to me. Show me.
It's our do-it-all concealer. It's an eraser for making
Okay, atta girl. Anything else I can help you with? Okay.
The drawer continued to open and close, and you are probably wondering how he knew the spirit's name was Lisa. Well, the history of the hotel dates back to the mid-1800s, when a woman called Lisa was miserably killed by the people in the room next to hers. It is a story that the hotel is haunted by her, but most people believe it is a fake marketing scheme for the hotel to gain more customers, not Dennis. The following video took place inside of a wax museum, and if you do not know what one of those are, for some reason, I am here to explain. A wax museum is a place where historical figures are remade as identical statues, but instead of being forged in a traditional way, they are made from wax. The wax statue that you are about to see is one of nobody particularly significant, and resembles an elderly woman who was executed for supposedly being a witch. Whether she was a witch or not is unknown, but it is safe to say that the clip you are about to watch leads us to believe she was one.
¡Ay, hijo de güey, qué pedo! ¿Qué onda, amigo? No, amigo, no manejo nada de mecatrónica. Es una figura totalmente en cera. Mira, es una pieza total, rígida, no se puede manipular. Te digo, no tiene nada. Te digo, mira, te muestro. No hay cables, no hay nada, no es un robot. Es una figura totalmente en cera.
Strangely, the head of the statue turned whilst he was looking at it, and it was not supposed to do this. As I stated before, the statue was made out of no material other than wax, and it doesn't take a genius to know that wax cannot move. This must have been the act of a ghost, perhaps the witch's ghost of which the statue was supposed to resemble. Olivia Conkle and her boyfriend were pulling into the driveway one evening after a party when they noticed something terrifying behind their window. It is important to note that nobody they knew owned a key to the house, and furthermore, no one was supposed to be in there whilst they were gone. These things put together made it very difficult for the duo to believe this was anything other than a threat, and they were lucky enough to take out their camera in time. Have a watch. Some sort of mysterious figure could be seen behind the window, and this would be very threatening to anybody arriving home. Due to the bravery of Olivia's boyfriend, though, they came to the conclusion of not calling the police, and he walked inside, only to find nothing. A few days passed by in the house where nothing of a paranormal nature happened to either of them, but of course this did not last. It was only a matter of time before another clip was captured. Olivia was home alone when she heard scratching outside of her bedroom door, and she started to film so that she could show both social media and her boyfriend what was happening. Little did she know that something even worse would occur in front of the camera. Somehow, something pulled the cloak from the door, and it was obvious based on the movement that this was unhuman-like. On top of this, Olivia went to investigate the other rooms behind the door, and to her dismay, found nothing. This is when she started to believe that what they were experiencing was a haunting. There was still one more event that took place before they decided to take action, though.
Wait! There's legit no one in here, dude. No one is in here.
All around the house, strange things were happening, and it was very evident that the cause was not a human. Spirits ridiculed this house, and Olivia has recently gone to the local church seeking assistance. We wish them luck in the future. Malls or shopping centers are locations that tend to be darling with life and joy, but trust me, there is nothing more eerie than a closed one late at night. If you ask any mall security guard to describe their job in 3 words, the word creepy will more than likely be one of them, and the video that I am going to showcase is part of this reason. The time was 2 a.m. and a security officer was patrolling around the local shopping center, specifically a clothing store. To his fortune, there were no intruders, but there were certainly some suspicions. Have a watch.
Ni apagaron las luces.
No sé. No hay nada, literalmente ni nadie. Aquí en la tienda, ni en esta plaza, ni nada. Pero hay algo que me llama mucho la atención dentro de este lugar. Desde hace un rato ya he estado viendo cómo se mueve una prenda en específico. No sé si puedan verla. Qué pedo. No mames. Literal no hay nadie. Estoy aquí solo. Y vean cómo se mueve. Oh, no mames. Qué pedo. No mames. No mames, se apagaron todo. Y esta madre se sigue moviendo. Oh, no te pases de lanza. Ya me alejé, pero vean cómo se sigue moviendo esto.
For some mysterious reason, one of the t-shirts started waving without any sort of human interaction, and it was clear that no visible force was acting upon it. Furthermore, as if the incident wasn't already frightening enough, the lights turned off, and they were not scheduled to do so at all on that night. The security guard contacted the team and asked them if they did this, to which they stated that they did not. The following video took place in the room of Elias Samael, and he was enjoying a nice and leisurely Sunday when all of a sudden a spirit decided to ruin it. Elias was watching the new episode of his favorite show on his mobile device and had been waiting months for it to release, and when it did, he watched it without any delay. He was ready to binge a minimum of 5 episodes, but to his dismay, a certain poltergeist had other ideas.
Amigos, tengo rato que escuché que me tocaron la puerta, pero yo pensé que era el señor que me renta. Pero no hay nadie, estoy solo y estoy viendo una película, pero algo como que me están tocando otra vez.
Creo que tendré que dejar así porque yo no sé nada sobre este tipo de cosas. La verdad sí tengo miedo de todo esto que está pasando ahorita porque no sé cómo hacerle. ¿Qué hacer? Algo raro. No sé qué está pasando realmente. Esto no tenía por qué haberse movido. ¿Quién eres? ¿Qué quieres? Vete de aquí. Déjame en paz.
Now, if you could not tell, this was not Elias's first encounter with the paranormal world, and it would not be far-fetched to actually call him a regular victim. You can tell from the Ouija board alone that he has experimented with the world of ghosts previously, not to mention that his content has appeared on this channel in other episodes. In this specific video, some mysterious sounds were being broadcasted behind the door, and they were followed by the collapse of several cups within the room. It was blatantly obvious that the cause of these events were a spirit, and unfortunately, there was nothing that Elias could do about it. Suggest some ideas for him down below in the comments. Omar was a strong believer in Jesus Christ and Christianity as a whole, so it came as no surprise when he turned to the religion immediately after encountering spirits. The event happened on February the 5th of 2025, and Omar was doing an activity as simple as lying in bed. Suddenly, he heard something scraping against the ground, and the name of his dead grandfather was whispered down his ear, but the only evidence that he had of this was his own word. It was because of this that he quickly forged a cross to protect him, in case something else randomly happened, and soon enough, it did.
Plebes, son las 3 de la mañana, plebes. Escuché el ruido, plebes. ¿Hay alguien en la pura puerta de mi cuarto, plebes? No sé quién demonios sea, pero me está dando mucho miedo, plebes. Quise marcar a mi familia. El teléfono me sonaba como si no estuviera en línea. Espíritu Padre que estás en el cielo. Plebes, no mames, plebes. Se está meneando mi calentadora, plebes. No.
The radiator crawled across the floor towards Omar, and he was extremely lucky to have captured such a phenomenon on camera. The only downside to this video was the fact that the cross in which Omar was holding failed to frighten the spirit into leaving him alone, meaning that whatever he was facing must have been a fairly powerful demon, or perhaps just his grandfather, considering the whisper. Abdul has had several features on this channel before, and it is more than obvious at this point that whatever is haunting him is here to stay. It all started several weeks ago when he began to hear some odd noises from downstairs during the night, but ever since that moment, things have just continuously gotten far worse. Nowadays, he does random checkup videos, where he will take his phone out and film the entirety of his house in case something happens, and he has gained a heap of videos from this routine. The video that you are moments away from seeing is one of them. Take a look.
Se han estado escuchando ruidos en toda la casa y de alguna forma no sé si esté tratando de decirme algo de una forma más directa. Se escucha más aquí en la sala y en la recámara he tratado de dejar harina también en la sala, en las sillas, en todos lados porque ha habido más movimiento. Pero las campanas ya... ¡Ay, cabrón! Esto también es lo que quería decir, o sea, Cookie ha estado cambiando de posición en toda la recámara y pues no sé a qué se deba. Solo ocurre en la recámara. Esto también ha estado sucediendo y incluso dejé un poco de harina en lo que es el asiento y... pero no logro distinguir mucho. Voy a tratar de leer esta misma hoja con más calma en otro momento. Y bueno, los murmullos... Chinga. Me cerraron la ventana. Pero aquí se escuchan los murmullos y a ver, no pienso abrir la puerta en esta ocasión. Definitivamente no.
All around the house, weird stuff were happening, and in the life of Abdul, this was probably something that he would consider to be on the more light side of things. Usually, his spirit would launch items from across the room in his direction, but this time around, the worst that things got was the turning of a chair. Still scary for the average viewer, nonetheless though. Steve and his beloved wife were a happy couple for many years, and at one point it seemed as if no one or nothing would be able to pull them apart. No matter how many embarrassing things they did, or how many mistakes one of them made, they would always apologize and make up with each other, which was honestly really wholesome to see. However, there is one type of creature that holds the power to ruin things as powerful as love, and this is a poltergeist. Steve started to continuously hear knocking from doors all around the house when his wife was not in, and she thought that he was becoming a psychopath. It was because of this that she left the house and put it on Steve to fend for himself, who had a new ambition to prove the existence of something in the house. After putting motion sensors in the basement, he waited, and eventually, he was rewarded.
It's like 11 p.m. I just got out of the shower, about ready to go to bed, and this keeps going off. That's the motion detector in the crawl space. I am scared to death to watch the footage from the camera down there. But we gotta do it. I've been putting this off all day, but it's about to get dark soon, so we need to go down there. This is the last thing that I want to do, but I don't really have a choice. Okay, right over there is where I saw the thing. What was that?
This was a highly disturbing video, and after the footage was checked, Steve regretted his decision of taking action deeply. He would have rather not known that there was a literal demon hiding in his basement, and continued to hear knocking despite it slowly driving him insane. It was 3 o'clock in the morning, and a time that many choose to refer to as the witching hour. The man recording the video was working alone in the small, dimly lit room. The stillness of the night surrounded him, and the soft glow of his screen illuminated the space. He had been working all night, getting lost in his boring task of guarding the facility, when suddenly the silence was abruptly broken. He heard running footsteps from somewhere down the hall, and presumably nearby to the stairs. His eyes darted toward the sound. It was odd. No one else was supposed to be in the building. Eager to find the source of the footsteps, he approached them and investigated. Surprisingly, though he found nothing, the footsteps stopped, leaving only the sound of his breathing. He shook his head, chalking it up to the late hour, but then something else. A soft moan echoed from down the hall. It was low, almost inhuman, and it sent a chill crawling up his spine. He froze, listening intently, waiting for something more, but everything went quiet again before the lights turned off. The man who captured both of these upcoming clips had the birth name of Ian, but his alias was the Midwest Ghost Hunter. This is because he traveled all the land of the Midwest in order to expose the true nature of paranormal activity, and this involved visiting a lot of well-known haunted landmarks. The place that Ian decided to explore in the video that you are about to be exposed to was a haunted manor of which the lore goes way too deep to explain. You don't need lore to understand that this place was beyond haunted though, and if you do not believe me, then take a look for yourself.
Got a K2 meter here. I'm gonna see if I can get any responses from Captain Jacob Colors' ghost. Captain Colors, are you here with me tonight? You were the owner of this building back when it was a hotel. They say that your spirit is still here. Is there any truth to that? If so, could you touch the green light? Is it okay that I'm here? Whoa. Whoa. Oh my God, that was a deep thump in this wall here. Is that a yes? Or is it a no? Whew, that was weird. I don't know what to think of that. It definitely surprised me though. That was a loud thump. Thump in this wall. Oh God.
Whilst Ian was interrogating the framed image on the wall, looking for answers as to whether he still haunted the building, a large thump was heard from the wall behind it. This coincidentally came after he inquired for an answer, which led him to believe that this was the spirit's way of implying the answer, yes. This was backed up by a sighting just shortly after.
Are there any former residents still living here? Hello? Oh my god! Oh my god! There was someone over there! Holy shit! I literally just saw a figure peek out of that room over there. It peeked out and it was looking right at me. Holy shit. Who are you? I just seen you. Could you peek out again? Okay, there's definitely somebody in there. Which means I have to go check it out. Ooh, yay. Who's in?
Ian saw the figure of what was presumably a poltergeist peek around the corner of a hallway at him, and he was very taken aback by this, because if you know one thing about the paranormal, it should be that apparitions are extraordinarily rare. This was followed up by some mysterious noises that further confirmed the presence of an entity to Ian. NQ is a notorious ghost hunter on YouTube, but in recent times, a lot of his content has been ridiculed for being fake, and obviously set up by his team. Most viewers hopped on the trend and called him a liar, without even checking for themselves. But one subscriber had a different idea. He decided to visit the location that the staged allegations sparked from. When NQ was here, all sorts of things moved without any human interaction, but many viewers spot strings attached to them. This video sought out to prove NQ right. Have a watch. First of all, a mysterious noise was heard, and this forced the man investigating to up his guard. He looked around the CityLink basement for any signs of something that could potentially move, and was drawn to the box, and to his surprise, it started to move, proving NQ's video of the place to be a valid one. The subscriber got out of there as quickly as he possibly could, and then uploaded the clip to YouTube, in hopes that it'd get traction. He managed to show 6,000 views that NQ was not a faker. Kelsey and Jamie were sleeping on a regular Saturday night when they were awoken by something very unexpected. Some odd sounds were occurring downstairs, and it almost sounded as if somebody else was in the house, so one of them needed to go and investigate. Jamie was fast asleep and really sick, so Kelsey did not want to force him down the stairs. She bravely volunteered to investigate and brought her mobile device with her. This is what she was able to record on camera.
Okay guys, it's after 2 in the morning and I just got up. Jamie's still... What in the hell? Jamie's still asleep. Oh my god, oh my god. These cupboards, I'm so afraid of them opening. I'm just gonna shut the water off here. Oh my god. I just shut that off and that is rolling. Look at this thing. It's rocking back and forth. Oh my god. Leave me alone. Jamie?
It was more than clear that nobody had invaded the house, and the only thing that had really made its way in was a poltergeist. This house had never experienced paranormal activity before, and furthermore, Kelsey and Jamie had never witnessed anything like it. This was a first-time experience, and that explains why she was so shook by what she came across. She told Jamie, and they both decided to do nothing about it due to their complete lack of knowledge. They hid under the coverts for the rest of the night and struggled to sleep for a brief period in the future. The following video was captured by the same YouTube channel that the first clip of this video involved, NQ. NQ was notorious for posting haunting findings to his YouTube channel, and they were always in the most obscure places that you would not be able to predict would have been a place brewing spirits. However, this video differed from the rest. Somehow, one of the poltergeists he encountered in another location must have traced him back to his home and decided to permanently haunt NQ. This is what it did, but before I show you, did you know that you can have your ghostly findings broadcasted on my channel too? That's right. All you have to do is email hauntertvofficial@gmail.com and attach your clips alongside a description of what happened and why it happened. If you do those 3 steps correctly, your clip will be in an upcoming video for certain. Anyways, here is the clip that NQ captured within his own home.
See if you can go in here. See, there's no strings or anything. Nothing back there. Nothing from the top all the way down the sides.
Strangely, the television started to shake aggressively, and learning from his past mistakes that led to him being called a liar, NQ got as close as he could and made sure to show everybody that there were no strings attached. Now, NQ was an expert when it came to things like this, so unlike others who would contact a ghost hunter in this situation, he just banished the spirit on his own and succeeded. Being home alone can only go one of 2 ways, and these ways contrast massively. It either becomes one of the most chill times of your life, or one of the most unnerving and terrifying moments occurs, and it was the latter for the man who recorded the series of videos that I am going to expose your poor eyes to shortly. His name was Pete, and one night when he was all by himself, some odd stuff started to happen, which led to him taking out his camera. It was a good thing that he did, because what he captured was extraordinary.
So I'm hearing this shit again, and I'm alone. Jesus Christ.
And I'm alone, dude. Jesus fucking... Oh my god. Oh my god. There was something behind that. There was something behind that. Nope. Nope. Nope.
No matter where Pete went in this household, the spirit followed, and he captured everything that a victim possibly could. What this series of events was called is a paranormal surge, and it refers to when 5 or more ghostly events happen within a 5-minute time span of each other. People are heavily advised to leave their house if one of these things happens to them, and Pete was clearly on the smarter side for doing this. For the following few days, he refused to go back to his home and took residence in his mother's house, promising to purchase his own food and things that he planned on using whilst he was there. However, he was only given a 2-day stay and was forced back to his place that he believed to be ridiculed with evil spirits. Throughout the next week or so, he could have sworn he continuously saw a shadow figure gliding between doors and exploring the property, but without any proof, he was too frightened to raise this concern to social media. One day, though, he hit the jackpot.
Oh, please tell me I got that on video. Please tell me I got that on video. That's why I put my phone up there. Nobody's in here. Oh, that scared me. Nobody's in here. Nobody's behind the door. Nobody's underneath the bed. Nobody's under the bed. Nobody's in the closet. Nobody's going out the room. In the closet. This is where I keep my laundry baskets. Nobody's here. And then the lights are going on and off. This is great. Bathroom. No. Utility closet. Nothing. Living room, kitchen. Nothing. And the lights are still doing that. And the remote, I don't know. I lost the remote. That's the remote.
Somehow, Pete managed to get the phenomenon on video and made sure to venture the entire building to make sure that the audience knew there was no way this shadow was a real person. I cannot fathom how terrified Pete must have been in this situation. Coming face to face with a spirit, even if it is just a shadow, is not for the weak, and luckily, Pete did not come under the weak category. He debated asking his father to stay at his house for the weekend because he had split up with his mother, meaning there was no way for him to know he stayed at her house a week prior, but went against the idea. It was cruel, forcing himself upon his parents' care. He came to the decision to stay in the house and give it one more chance, but of course that chance failed within a day.
There's something knocking at the door. I'm here alone. Nope. My girlfriend's not supposed to be here yet. Nope. Go away. She's not supposed to be here yet. I didn't hear her car. Her keys are not here.
This was the weirdest incident of the three because the ghost somehow mimicked the voice of somebody that was actually scheduled to be at the house in due course. It continuously knocked in an attempt to be let into the room, and this is what created the most silly decision that Pete made during these clips. He let it inside. The rest of his night was horrible, and the room became extremely active. This is when he came to the right conclusion that the house needed to be sold, and it is currently on the market at a rather cheap price. Roughly 6 months before the upcoming video was recorded, Lucy had a very haunted house. Her bedroom door would knock uncontrollably, her objects would displace themselves overnight, and she would often hear voices echoing around her kitchen. All of these things combined made it obvious that the place had a ghost occupying it, and she hired a ghost hunter to resolve the issue. Soon enough, one came to the house, and after he left, everything was supposed to be fine, and it was. For the next 6 months, absolutely nothing out of the ordinary happened, and Lucy was finally able to have some peace and comfort inside of her own home. This did not last forever, though. Unfortunately, on the 6-month anniversary of getting rid of the spirit, this happened. Her door knocked aggressively, and this was exactly what the old spirit used to do to her when it got late. She started having flashbacks to all of the previous times she had to go through this, and had no idea what the next steps should be, considering the ghost hunter did not do much in the long term. Comment down below if you have any suggestions for her, and you might as well subscribe too. The Midwest ghost hunter goes on all sorts of crazy adventures, and the one that I am about to show you is one of his most daring yet. He decided to visit an abandoned and haunted asylum that was absolutely ridiculed with spirits, and over my last few videos, I have been showcasing the horrors that he has managed to capture on camera. From flying fruits to unexplained noises, this place has had it all so far, but at the same time hasn't even offered half of what it has in store. The Midwest ghost hunter was walking up the stairs when this clip began to see if it was worse up there, and this is what happened.
Hello? Is there anybody up here? This whole place is unbelievably creepy. I can only imagine what it's gonna be like walking through the actual asylum wing. Is there anyone up here? The hell was that? Whoa! Holy shit! Dude, that was a loud freaking bang. Is there somebody down there? Whoa! Whoa! That door just opened! I literally just saw that! Oh my god! Dude, I cannot believe that. Already a door freaking opened. Oh god, and now it's shut. When did that happen? Oh god, do I dare freaking look? Look at that. It's slightly moving. There is no one. There is nobody. So then, how the hell did this door open? And look at that. It naturally shuts on its own. So whatever opened this had to have some good amount of force.
The unexplained noises came back again, and for those of you who do not know, this YouTuber does all of his explorations alone, so nobody else should have been in the vicinity. He identified the noise to have come from downstairs, so asked if there was anybody down there, and this is where the real fright happened. The door somehow opened itself and triggered a state of panic for the man who did not expect something so scary to happen so early into the challenge. Regardless of his expectations, it happened though, and there is far more to come for him. Subscribe so you do not miss future videos where this ghost hunter will 100% be featured. Speaking about features you can feature in future Haunter videos by simply emailing me at hauntertvofficial@gmail.com and sending over the clips that you want to have a feature. Include the clips alongside a description of why and what happened so that I know the story and I will include you in an upcoming video for sure. Why would you want to miss out on such a fun opportunity? The following video was captured by a shopkeeper called Damien, who was walking around making sure that everything was in pecking order before opening the store. It was very important to make sure that all the items were displayed well and nothing was misplaced because it helped to maximize sales, which is important for obvious reasons. One day, whilst Damien was on shift doing this regular work, he started to feel weird and heard odd sounds. It was because of this that he started to film and managed to get this on camera.
Bueno gente, soy el sereno acá de este supermercado y ahora estoy por lavar toda esta zona. Esta sería la zona de huevos, lácteos. Y bueno, acabo de escuchar algo en la fiambrería. Debe ser mi amigo el fantasma. Qué querrá, ¿no? Parece que mi amigo el fantasma se quiere comunicar a través de esas luces. Fantasma, ¿quieres tú algo? ¿Estás aquí? Dime. Ah, bueno. ¿Qué quieres? Hola. Bueno. ¿Me dejas trabajar mejor, fantasma? Por favor. ¿Me dejas? Que quiero trabajar tranquilo. ¿Estamos? Por favor.
All sorts of weird phenomena started to happen around the store, and Damien knew that something was there with him. From falling bread to collapsing trays, all of this would not have happened by sheer coincidence, and the spirit was making its presence known. This was a horrible experience for Damien and actually made him religious. Fortunate, neither him or the shop have seen or hosted any more activity since this date. The kitchen is a common place for paranormal activity, and I have absolutely no idea as to why. Seemingly every video that I publish on this channel has one or two instances that take place in the kitchen, and the one that you are about to see is no different. It took place in the home of Casos, a Spanish father of two who was enjoying his day off from work after lying about being sick. The bad karma got to him though, because this happened whilst he was supposed to be having a relaxed time.
Bueno, ahí para que vean después el video se lo voy a mostrar. Estoy colocando agüita para llevar un tecito, un termo. Vuelvo a cerrar. Tengo la taza. Esa es mi bebé. Esa pulguita es mi bebé, que se llama Canela. Y esperando. Aquí vean esta piolita. Ya, ahí empezó. Ya. Voy a empezar a huevear. Estoy hueveando. Bueno. No es algo muy normal. La taza se movió. El gato. No es muy agradable la sensación que que se vive acá. Ya, es hueveo, ya. Ya cabros, un ratito para afuera.
He started to hear some mysterious sounds coming from the kitchen, so he did what anybody would have done and investigated. He expected to see something such as a rodent or his cat causing chaos, but what Casos found was very disturbing. The mug moved itself on its own accord not once, but twice, indicating that it was haunted. Casos was extraordinarily lucky to have caught this on camera, because who knows who would have believed him otherwise. Donna Ayres is a woman who you will be very familiar with if you are a regular on this channel. She has been a victim of paranormal activity for an extended period of time now, and she has uploaded so much content about her spirit that she will probably be seen in haunter videos several years down the line. The thing that makes her spirit weird is that a lot of its behaviors match that of her ex-husbands, who passed away a few months before the hauntings began. This has led many theorists to believe that he is the one haunting her, but if this is the case, then he must have a serious vendetta against her based on what he does.
Guys, I just thought I'd put you back on. That coin seems to like me very much because it just won't stop. It seems to be making... It's just doing its own shit. And you've got to see this. It is freezing, by the way, on where I'm stood, and I can hear... You wouldn't believe me if I said... Because you'll think I'm fucking losing the plot. I'm not. How is this possible? Guys, you've got to be seeing this. Who are you? What do you want? Are you restless? What do you want? Why won't you leave me alone? What is it you're trying to tell me? Guys, you're seeing this, aren't you? This is ridiculous. Guys, this is ridiculous. The fuck? This... Are you... No, shit. Sorry guys, but I'm just coming in here. That coin just flew at me, right at me. Something. I don't know if it's because I have a Ouija board now and I'm egging this spirit on, but it's getting very violent, very. I'm just going to upload this footage now, guys, because there's too much happening now.
In this clip, the poltergeist toys with a coin that Donna left on the table, and she is evidently scared by this. If the ghost was that of her husband, it likely would have stopped once he realized she was in fear, but going off the fact that it continued to mess with the coin, and even launched it towards her, I am starting to tilt away from that theory. Let me know what you think in the comments.